Hello and welcome to yoga. For today's class, we are going to start standing. So take your feet about hip distance or maybe slightly wider apart with your toes pointing forward. Pick up your toes and spread your toes and then grip the ground with your feet. Give yourself a little bend in your knees and tone your low belly as you tilt your tailbone down towards your heels. Draw your shoulders back and let your palms face forward. And then reach your fingers down at your sides. Engage your core and bring your head back into the back plane of your body. Take your gaze directly forward and soften your gaze. Start to notice all of your surroundings without looking at anything in particular. Relax your hands at your sides. And on your next exhale, allow your eyes to close if that feels okay. Otherwise, just soften your gaze. Begin to deepen your breath by lengthening your inhale and slowing down your exhale. Feel that strong connection to the earth. Start to scan up from the feet into the ankles, the shins and the calves, to your knees, your quads and your hamstrings, to your glutes. Bring your awareness to your low back and begin to move up the low back into the middle back, the upper back and shoulder blades, tops of the shoulders, back of the neck. Take a big breath into your back body, and on your exhale, allow your muscles to relax just a little bit more. And then listen to any sounds that you can hear. Draw hands together at heart center in Anjali Mudra. Gently press your palms into one another and take an inhale to lift to the very top of your head. Draw your shoulders back, and on your exhale, bow your head towards your hands, bringing your forehead as close to your fingers as you feel comfortable. Take a breath here. And then softly open your eyes. Release your hands down at your sides and draw your head back. Inhale, hands up towards the sky. Exhale your hands down to your heart. Inhale and reach. Exhale, hands down. Let's do another this way. Inhale, hands towards the sky. Exhale your hands to your third eye. Inhale and reach. Exhale this time, you're going to start to hinge at your hips. Draw your hands down to above your knees at the tops of your thighs. Or maybe not the tops, the middle of your thighs. Use your legs as a little shelf to support you. And then rotate your inner thighs in towards one another. Send your sit bones back and broad. Lengthen through belly, ribs, and chest. Draw your shoulders back. And on your next exhale, hinge at your hips to fold farther. If you have blocks, you're welcome to grab blocks or any prop to bring the floor a little bit closer to you. Inhale, lengthen to your half forward fold. Hands come to the above the knees. Lengthen through your spine. Exhale, hinge at your hips and fold farther. Take a full bend to your knees so that you can kind of rest on the tops of your legs. Your arms are going to go wide. Press your feet into the floor and use your glutes. Inhale and rise to mountain. Exhale, hands to your heart. Inhale and reach. Exhale, hinge at your hips, fold over your legs. Inhale, lengthen to your half forward fold. Exhale, release over your legs. Bend your knees, arms are going to go wide. Inhale and rise. Exhale, hands to your heart. We're going to take a wider stance on our mats. So if you need to turn your mat sideways, you're welcome to do that. And then line up. So technically, when you extend your arms directly out from your shoulders, you want to line up your ankles with your wrists. But you don't have to take that long of a stance if that doesn't feel comfortable. So whatever feels best in your body. Let your hands come to your hips. Your toes are pointing forward. And your toes are kind of coming in with your heels slightly turning out. So the outside edges of your feet are parallel to the mat. Then pick up your toes and spread your toes. Grip the ground with your feet. Give yourself a little bend in your knees. And then as your heart comes forward, your hips are going to swing back. Start to hinge at the hips. You can bring your hands to your thighs, or you can bring your hands to your shins. Don't press on your knees. You can come to a step stool, a box, or blocks, whatever you have handy. You can drop hands or forearms to the ground. Take some big breaths and allow your body the time that it needs to relax. Your muscles relax a little bit more on every exhale. So take some big breaths. Two more breaths right here. And then inhale, you're going to come up to your half forward fold. You can come to blocks or some sort of prop if you'd like. You're going to bend your left knee and stretch your right inner thigh. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, bend your right knee, stretch your left inner thigh. Inhale to center. Exhale to your left. Start to pedal out your legs a few times in your wide-legged forward fold. We're going to do one more on each side. And then back at center, exhale, maybe fold a little bit farther over your legs. Inhale, come back up to your half forward fold. You're going to bend your knees. Take your hands to above your knees on your thighs and walk your hands up your legs. Good. From here, you're going to turn your left foot to the side and start to bend into your front knee. Line up your front knee right over your shin and your ankle. Now you can always take a shorter stance here if you prefer. Tone your low belly and tilt your tailbone down towards the ground, and then take your arms directly out from your shoulders. You can leave your neck in alignment with your spine, or you can take your gaze over your front hand. Whatever feels better on your neck and your shoulders, take a full breath. Exhale your hands down to your hips. And then if you have blocks, you're going to grab your blocks. No problem if you don't have blocks. We're moving into our Trinity pose. So you're going to wrap your left hip down and under, keep your knee open to the side. And then at a 45-degree angle, you're coming out from the hips. Now you can stay right here with your hands supported on the floor or a block. Or if you'd like, you're welcome to come up to a lifted variation. The full variation of this pose, however, is that you're going to drop your hip all the way down. You're working towards letting this heel stay on the floor, but you're welcome to have like a froggy lift on the ankle. You're going to flex your extended foot and take a big breath right here. So it doesn't matter. You can be lifted if that feels better, or you can be squatting down. Good. One more breath here. Take your hands to the floor or to blocks. You're going to walk yourself, press down into the ground with your feet over to the other side. Now, you can come to this lifted variation of your Trinity pose, or you're welcome to drop your hip. Flex your extended heel. You can have your heel lifted or on the ground, whatever feels more comfortable for your body. Take a big breath right here. Inhale, you're going to lift your hips first, and then draw your torso up. Walk your hand up your leg. So bend into your right knee, so it's right over your shin and your ankle. The outside edge of your extended leg, the foot, is parallel to the end of your mat. You're wrapping your right hip down and under. Keep that knee open to the side. And then take your arms directly out from your shoulders if that feels comfortable. Maybe take your gaze over your right hand or just directly forward. Take a big breath and remind yourself, I am strong. Good. From here, exhale your hands down to your hips. You're going to move slowly, but you're going to turn and tuck your back toes and bend into your front knee. Good. Put your blocks aside. Plant your hands and step back to a downward facing dog. Lengthen through the back of the neck and bend your elbows slightly. Draw your elbows in at your sides. And then bend your knees until you're tailbone towards the sky. Reach your heels towards the floor, but they don't have to touch. And then press your hands into the ground and reach your hips away from your shoulders. Take one more big breath here. Inhale, bring your knees down to the ground. You can take your knees wide or close together. Press your hips back towards your heels as far as it feels comfortable. You can always keep your hips lifted. Walk your hands out in front of you and bring your forehead to rest on the floor or some sort of prop. Take a little shift in your hips side to side, and maybe even let your forehead roll side to side. And then back at center with your hips and your shoulders, reach your fingers a little bit farther out in front of you. Take some big breath and guide your breath down into your low back ribs. Notice if you have any sort of expansion or contraction in your low back ribs as you breathe. No judgment or expectation. Simply notice how that feels for you. On your next inhale, you're going to walk your hands towards your legs and come up to a kneeling position. Drop your hips to the floor and let your feet come out in front of you. Now, you do not need a blanket. However, if you have a throw-sized blanket, any size blanket can work, a towel, a sweater, anything that's close by, you're going to grab it and roll up one of the longer edges in a tight roll. You're going to bring your feet together to touch. Let your knees open wide. And then draw your blanket over your feet and underneath your ankles. It's okay if you don't have a blanket, you don't need one. Take a moment though to shift your sit bones away from one another and actually reach back and move the meat of your glutes out of the way. And then press down into the ground by your hips so that you can lengthen through your spine. Press your feet into one another and allow your knees to open up naturally to the sides. You don't have to press them open. The size of your diamond also does not matter. It just depends on your ankles, your hips, and your knees, what feels good in your body. From here, you're welcome to rest or to stay lifted, or you can bring your hands to your blanket, to your ankles or your feet. Maybe start to hinge at the hips to fold forward over your legs. Now you're already in a fold, just being seated on the ground, so you don't have to add the fold if you don't want to. Reach long through belly, ribs, and chest so that your shoulders can be relaxed down and away from the ears. Broad through your heart space. If you would like to do it and it would feel good in your body, you're welcome to round through the spine and let your head hang. Take 2 more breaths right here. On your next inhale, press your hands into the floor and come back up to a tall seat. Use your hands to bring your knees back together, feet on the floor. Put your blanket off to the side, and then we are going to make our way all the way onto our backs. On your back, you're going to walk your feet closer to your hips, about hip distance apart. Draw your shoulders back and reach your hands down towards your heels. And then from here, you're going to bend your right knee in towards your chest. You can always use a strap here if you prefer. Use your hands to bring your knee as close to your body as it feels comfortable for you, and then flex your foot. Start to slide your left heel along the ground. Flex your left foot and actively reach through that heel. And then imagine slightly rotating your inner thigh of your extended leg down towards the floor. Bring your left hand to your left hip and your right hand to your right knee. Help open up the knee to the side. With your hand on your knee, you're going to draw towards your head and towards your feet so that you're hinging through the hip. Work out your hip and slightly massage the outside edges of your glutes on the floor here. And then draw your knee back into center. You're going to help cross that knee over your body as far as it feels good. You can always put some sort of prop underneath your knee here. And then take a breath in your twist. Inhale to come back to center and let that foot come to the floor. Bend your left knee in towards your chest and give it a good squeeze. Slide your right heel along the ground and then flex both feet. Rotate your right inner thigh down towards the floor and then take your right hand to your right hip, your left hand to your left knee, and help open up the knee to the side. Hinge the hip up and down. Use your hand to support your leg. And then draw that knee back into your chest. Give it a good press. And then let your knee come away from your heart and cross it over your body to the right. You decide how far you're going to take your twist. And then as you breathe, you are compressing your abdominal organs in your twist. So allow that breath to help bring out your organs. On your next inhale, come back to center, footprint to the floor. Bend your right knee, bring both feet to the ground. And then take your feet a little bit wider than your hips so you can let your knees drop into touch. Take your hands to the tops of your legs, right by your hip creases. And then press your hands into your legs. Tilt your pelvis forward and back. And as you rock forward and back, you're massaging your sacrum, your tailbone into the floor. And then press your hands into the ground, let your pelvis tilt forward so much that your low back comes up off of the ground. Your tailbone is kind of pressing into the floor. And then while you are pressing your hands into your legs, breathe into your low back and notice if you can expand your low back ribs closer to the floor. Take another big breath right here. Good. Then relax your hands at your legs. Bring one hand to your belly and one hand to your heart. And allow your eyes to close if that feels okay. Slide one leg long along the ground and then the other leg. And take your arms either down by your sides or out wide in a T shape. Feel your body sinking deeper into your mat. Your bones are heavy on the floor. Begin to take a deeper breath. And feel your body laying on your mat. Notice where you connect with the ground. And then wiggle your fingers and your toes. Clench your fists and circle your wrists. Flex your feet and circle your ankles. Maybe take your arms overhead in a full body stretch. And then bend your knees so you can bring your footprints to the floor. Roll over to whichever side you naturally turn towards. And on your side, turn your heart and your belly down towards the ground. Take a big breath right here. Slide your top leg long along the floor and bring your hands to the ground in front of your heart. Gently press yourself back up to a seat, rousing yourself as little as possible. Shift your sit bones out of the way and bring your hands together at your hearts. Close your eyes and take a full breath. Honor yourself for taking this break. Namaste. Thank you for joining, and I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your day.